Welcome back. This is SimCity number 16, I think. And as you can see from looking at this, I have let the simulation run for quite some time. You can tell that by the state of the fields down here. They're all black from the oil. I think when I left, this was just a very small town, just this little area here. And I was just explaining that I was very happy because I was making quite a lot of money with just a very small area, and it was easy to look after. I don't think you can pick this up in the recording. I'm on my headphones. I can hear the Sims music, SimCity music, loud and clear, and I've always liked the music to this game. I think it's been very good. But as you can see now here, I have I've increased. Let me just do something here, although you can't hear it. I can hear the sound too much. Yeah, so I've increased this thing by a huge amount. The population is not huge, not that big. I'm very happy with my approval rating. I got up to 94% a while ago, and I very rarely get past 90. It normally goes to about 88 and then it stops, so that's something. This is the only place that I can make money in this particular region. There's three towns in this region, and this is the only one that has oil, coal and ore. And so what I did was I'm taking lots of oil from all the wells, and I opened an ore mine, I opened a coal mine, I opened a trading headquarters, a head office. I needed that because I wanted to unlock this thing, which is the large trade port, and from this thing you can export stuff via the rail line. So all the stuff, the oil, the ore, the coal, it gets picked up by the trucks, gets put in here, and then it gets taken away by the train. And the reason that becomes very important is because if you don't have that, you're going to be depending on these roads to export everything. And you know, when the roads get busy, although they're not at the moment, but if they get busy, then these trucks have a difficult time getting back in and out, and you find that everything gets stuck in traffic. And all of these oil wells, the ore mines, they all start to get full to capacity, and then they have to stop because there's nowhere to send the stuff. So if ever you're dealing with a lot of trade, it really is advisable that you get one of these things. Each of these barrels can hold 100 tons. The small one, the small trade depot, can only hold 20 tons, but these can hold 100 tons each. And I've got, you can put quite a few as well. Like I've got 1, 2, 3, so that's 300. I think it's 30,000 barrels of oil you can hold here, and these things then are, 100 tons there, 100 tons there, and I can put another 2. So they make a huge difference if you're trying to make money in a town, because like I say, you don't have to go by road. and when the train comes along it'll pick up an awful lot more stuff, and you make quite a lot more money than you would if you were just depending on, you know, each truck. So I've done that. I'm standing at 4 million here, but to be honest I've probably gone through about 10 million because I've already sent money off to the other towns. In order to pay for all this, because it costs money to run all these things, all these head offices cost money, I've also put in tourism. Here I got tourism here, I've got the railway line here, so this tourism is doing okay. In fact, it's doing very well for on the one. It's all in the one spot. It's making 29. It's kind of paying for everything. One of the main reasons is because in order to keep the crime down in this little region, I've opened up a big police precinct, and I've opened up one of these in every town. And this thing has everything that I can, you know. The first thing I did was I set a university up in another town, and I opened up the detective wings here. The detective wings are good because they send out detective cars, and they get rid of all the criminals that are at large. And in spite of all that, I've still got 7 criminals at large. But the amount of police I have patrolling around here is quite a lot. I would have thought this number would be lower, but still. I'm trying also to educate everybody. Where am I? There's the education number. I haven't got everybody educated, but I've got plenty of spare places. I've got a school there. I've still got the old primary school down here. And I've got medium roads and things. So I haven't really let this place build up too much. I've kept the population down. And that's it. I've got all the other services, the water, the sewage here. And I've actually got another school there, and I started building this thing. This is one of the mega towers. I'm not sure what good that does. But this kept telling me that we needed more people, we need more people, we need more people, and things started to stop working. So I built this to try and make sure that I'd have a decent sized population. The roads down here look very quiet at the moment, and that's because, well, I've tried to keep the population small in the other 2 towns. You can see one town is over here, and the other town is over here. Both of these towns, it's Clearwater and Trinity Point, they're going to be big tourist towns. That was the whole point here. This was where all the money was going to come from to fund these towns, because they have nothing in them to sell. So let's go over here. This is Clearwater. Now, Clearwater, like I said, has got no oil or anything. I'm going to speed it up because it's night time. And so in order to kind of make some money, I had to kind of start putting in some casinos as quick as possible. And I also needed to put in a university because I wanted to do the research work to unlock the detective stuff from the precinct, so I needed to do that here. Now obviously when you've got the university plus, there it is, the police precinct. This thing is costing 10,000 an hour. The university is costing 5 an hour. It's quite expensive. These things, like in my other videos, they make money sometimes and then they seem to stop making money. Right now I'm losing money, but so in order to buy all of these and in order to keep this place running, because this is year 3, I have had to take an awful lot of money from the other town, you know, from Norwich Hills. I think I've probably sent myself about 3 million already to keep this place going. And in fact, most of this money has probably been sent. So I haven't got to the stage where I'm comfortably making any profit here. Sometimes I seem to be. You know, sometimes this figure will jump into the green, and I'll be making 25,000 or something, and it all looks well. But then 2 minutes later, it'll drop back into the red again. Otherwise, in this town, like I said, one of the first things I put, which again is costing a fortune, is the precinct. And at the moment, this place is surprisingly good. That's pretty perfect. If they were all like that, I'd be very happy. I mean, that's a great figure when you think that I've got 4 casinos. I think maybe the reason that figure is low is because I've got the precinct, and it's not just the police precinct. I've got helicopters, detectives, I've got crime prevention vans, I've got the whole, that's why it's so expensive. But I've also got the university, and the university has been going for a while now. I've had 2 upgrades. It's not taking, what time is it? It's early yet, so by the end of the day it may have taken more people than that, but you can see it's got I also just installed this thing here. One of these things is that's the School of Law, so perhaps that thing actually, once you install this, it can keep the crime down. But like I said, that figure could change at any time. Over here on the seafront, I have all my tourist stuff, and all these and I've even got an expo center. All these places are doing pretty well. I got 3 ferries. They're 1,000 more or less each to run. I don't know if 3 is a good idea. I'm not sure I'm doing any more business with 3 than I would do with 1, because I don't see a queue of boats coming in or anything. It's normally just 1 at a time. But I've got an awful lot of expenses to pay, obviously with the university and the precinct. So you can see here there's an awful lot to pay. So the tourism is kind of helping me to break even, or not. At the moment I'm not really breaking, just about. Well, no, I'm not. There we go. Now I'm up a few quid. The other strange thing I've noticed here is that, as you can see, if you just look at all the yellow here, it seems to be that in Clearwater I'm getting quite a few high wealth and low wealth, but very, very little of medium wealth. That's kind of strange. Normally the medium wealth is the one that you see all over the place, which is this orange color. That's the medium people. But I don't see, as I look around here, I really don't see any medium. And all these things are geared toward medium wealth people. So that's, I don't really know how you can explain that, other than, well, I don't know, maybe they've actually set this particular town up so that it just deals with high and low wealth. I don't know, that doesn't really make sense. Otherwise, it's a nice town. I quite like the look of it, and I really like the fact that this is doing so well, and this still got a lot of people unemployed. But anyway, that's Clearwater. And the final place, which is up and running now, is Trinity Point. And Trinity Point has another odd thing about the tourists, is that in Trinity Point they seem to be all high wealth tourists. I don't know whether that's still like that. This is Trinity Point. Let me just check the tourist thing here. Yeah, this is quite bizarre. So there's no medium wealth tourists in the other town, which is the orange one, and in this town there isn't any tourists except high wealth. The high wealth is this color. I've never seen that before. In fact, anybody that's watched the earlier videos will know that I've spent quite a few videos trying to just attract high wealth tourists. So you'd imagine I'd be happy here, because that seems to be all I've got, high wealth tourists. But it's very odd that there's no medium wealth except 22. You know, anywhere there's no medium wealth, there's no low wealth. And these casinos, they're not specifically designed just for high wealth people. They're designed for medium, low wealth and high wealth. So to me, it seems odd. I don't know whether it's been set up that way so that if you want, you know, that perhaps it's to encourage people like me to have a go at this thing which we've been trying to get right for so many episodes now, the elegant casino, which I never really managed to get working. And perhaps this is the place where this would work, because this is especially geared toward high wealth sims, and it looks like there is nothing else here but high wealth sims. So you would imagine if you had the money to afford that, it surely has to work here. Everywhere else I've tried this, although I did check it out before, and I think a couple of episodes ago I had it working, and it was full up with tourists and gamblers and people staying in the hotel, and it was still losing money. It was filled to capacity but still losing money. So because of that, I kind of thought it must be broke. So if I put this here, which I might try and do later on, if it doesn't work here, it's not going to work anywhere. But like I said, even if it's filled to capacity, it may still be losing money, which, you know, then you wonder why the hell would you bother with it. It just means it can never make money. So again, it must be broke. This place looks like crap. And before we go bankrupt, which we are going to do, unless I can take a bond, I'm going to take this just to give myself a bit of time here. You can see this is what's been happening to this town and the other town all the time. I send money over from my Norwich town, and it just quickly gets eaten up, because these things are not enough to pay for this. At the moment, there is one crime committed a day and there's 6 criminals at large. Earlier on I was playing this, there was about 25 criminals at large, and there was about 10 crimes per day, with the population of, at that time, I had about 40,000 people. And I reckon the reason was because I had lots of roads and quite a lot of maxed out buildings, so I thought the police can't get around. So what I did was I put in another police precinct, which is closed now, because these two, plus I've got another police station over here somewhere, it was just costing too much money. to run. So what I decided to do was I got rid of all the buildings. I basically knocked the population down from about 40,000 to 18,000, and I stuck in lots of major avenue roads, these big roads. The idea being that, well, if these policemen can just get around easily from place to place, then there won't be the epidemic of crime that I was having, which was driving me nuts. And that seems to have worked. I've managed to get the crime down to just 6 criminals at large. You can see the amount of money I'm losing here, though. So this town, it was sustainable for a while when I had a very, very small population and I had just 2 casinos down here. But now I also have it's not surprising really, I've only got 17,000 people and I've got a university. So this thing is costing, well, that's not too bad, 3,500. This precinct is costing 9, plus you've got the odd fire station and things like that. So for a small population, I put the university in because I thought, you know, I've got to educate everybody to try and sort out this mess. I've also had to put an airport in here. So at the moment it's doing okay in terms of crime, and education wise, it's, yeah, everybody is being educated, 100% record, but it is totally unsustainable. It's not making anywhere near enough money. And my approval rating has dropped from 90. So that's about it. I guess what I can do is go back to Norwich. I can send some money over here and I can try out the Elegant Casino just to see if that works. I think that would be interesting because of the fact that we've got all the high wealth Sims that seem to be visiting Trinity Point exclusively for some reason. How much time do I have? I don't know, what time did I start here? I think I don't want these videos to go any more than 30 minutes. So you can see now, after just visiting those 2 towns, that none of them really are sustainable at this moment. And I don't know if I have enough interest to keep plugging away at the various problems here to try and make them into kind of touristy, successful, wealthy areas. Because like I say, at the moment it's all dependent on this place. When the oil and the ore run out here, which they will, it's going to be the end of this place, unless something miraculous happens with the tourism. But I'm kind of personally kind of happy that I've managed to keep the crime down in this little region. It shouldn't even be as high as it is, I don't think. I've got so many of these bloody things. I mean, the amount of police going around, I can show you that. You know, all those, these are all police cars. If I speed it up a bit, you know, and I mean, there's just convoys of police cars going around, and it's, you know, it's a pity you couldn't see all the police cars here. Can I do that? Well, you can see there that there's, you know, there's about 100 police cars going around. There's the same amount in this town and in this town, so there shouldn't really be any criminals, I don't think, with this amount of police. So what am I going to do? I'm going to send money to, because I just want to find out, to Trinity Point. I'm going to send 1 million. I'm going to install that elegant casino, and that'll be it for this episode. Did that money go? It's left here, but I didn't see. Maybe I missed the... Let's load this again. I don't know how many more of these videos I'm going to do. My interest is starting to kind of wane on these. Simoleon gift received. Good, there's the 1 million. So before that money runs out, let's just take this wonderfully expensive temperamental thing and let's put it right. Can we put it here? Yeah. Gonna lose a lot of buildings there, but let's put it in a perfect place. And should I add? Let's just put the penthouses. Can I do that? Can't. I have to put these. Let's put 1 penthouse. And this is for high wealth gamblers. Let's put that. Okay, so there it is. That's going to open up soon. And we're going to see if that makes any money. At the moment, it's losing. What's going to be? The expenses are 8,200. So it has to make a fortune before it becomes profitable, because the expenses are huge. 8,000 expenses compared to this one, which is just 1,800. This one. The expenses here are 4,000. You can see with these ferry terminals as well, this one is busy, this one's empty. I don't know. It's one of the many things in this game where you think, is it something I'm doing, or is it just the game that's not kind of as clever and as well put together as we imagine it to be? That's the problem with these simulation games. I've seen guys tear their hair out literally because they can't get things to work, when no matter what they do, what they're working on is not going to work because it's kind of a glitch. Got a problem with sewage. Like a place this size, which has, well, I assume that's going to keep dropping. It has to, with the everybody being educated in a university. So I'm just going to hang around for a few minutes to see if this works. I know it's maybe I'll have to speed things up. Like I said before, the reason that there's such a stupid kind of mess of roads is because I did a very quick demolition job of buildings and houses and things, and I even installed a second police precinct. Can imagine the cost of these two things. So I'm not earning a thing from tourism at the moment. I'm actually losing money on tourism. So at the moment, besides the tax, there's just nothing to pay for all this. Let me speed it up to see if this figure will change a little bit as we get through the day. It's a nice spot here. It's a nice place. And you're right on the sea. If I go down here, you can see somebody has just moved into somewhere. And there you go, get a view of the boats. Down there is the Clearwater town. Let's just take a screenshot. And then you can see the figure here. I've gone from losing 17, I think it was, to now I'm plus 12. So right now I'm doing very well. There's my casino, and oh, just like that, it's earning money. That'd be quite a result to have this earn money, because like as anyone's watched some of the other videos, they'll know that this thing it's practically always in the red. Let's have a look. Is it still? Now just as I turn on the tourist map, you can see that all the rich people have, it looks like they've all committed mass suicide. Unfortunately, they've all gone into the water, and then another boat has come and it's brought in another load of rich people. And well, there you go. That's hugely successful. The high wealth tourists, it's full, 380 out of 380. There is no medium wealth at all. That's really strange. Lodgers, at the moment I've got no lodgers for either, but it is filled with high wealth tourists, as indeed everything seems to be. So that's a success at the moment. And yeah, I'm earning a lot of money. If it's dead like that, but you see, in the blink of an eye, everything has emptied out, and I'm losing 26. And that's kind of the way this goes. You earn 26 grand 1 hour, and then you lose it the next hour, and then where are all these people going? Seriously. Are they not even waiting for a boat? Are they just disappearing into the... How bizarre. It's like they're just walking off into the air. Right, there they go. They're supposed to wait for something to come along and collect them. Weird. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I think that's about a half hour. I'm trying to keep these things down to a half hour. Otherwise, I just go on, and then I end up with a 2.5 hour video that I have to try and cut into smaller segments. So I wasn't sure how many, I'm not sure how many more of these I'm going to do, but because of the success of this, that's kind of given me a bit of a new lease of life. I'd like to see how many of these I could keep going here now, and because of what I've done here with the education and the law enforcement, I feel I've got this town under control, and believe me, it hasn't. It's the first time probably that any town has been under control like that. And perhaps we can do something to steady this tourist figure, because if we could get this to be, making a profit all the time, then I could start putting in other things. So no crimes for criminals. And I think in here there's maybe 7, something like, I think I had 7 criminals. Seven criminals at large, no crime. So what I may do here, actually off camera, because I'm going to call this episode here, is I may put a university down, and I think in the other place over here there isn't that much crime either. So that's what I'll do. I shall try and educate everybody here, and then we shall go back, and I think I'll probably do 1 or 2 more episodes just to see if I can get the tourism to become successful to the extent that these towns can run on their own without continually having to depend on bailouts from this place. But until then, adios.